analyzing evidence about the history of life. Only a small percentage of the organisms that ever lived fossilized. Yet, these fossils help scientists learn about how life on Earth changed over time. Fossils show where and when certain extinct organisms lived. They also show patterns in how the body plans of organisms changed over time. Fossils can provide information about past environments. They can even give clues to how extinct species interacted. The fossil record also shows patterns in how species appeared and disappeared throughout Earth's history. Glyptodonts were about the size of a small car. They ate plants and lived among early humans before the Ice Age. The insect-eating armadillo shares many features with its extinct relative, the glyptodont. However, it is much smaller. Evidence of earliest life forms. Charles Walcott was an American paleontologist who, in 1909, discovered many well-preserved fossils of ancient sea organisms near Mount Burgess, Canada. The fossils were preserved in layers of shale left by an ancient ocean. The soft tissues of many of the fossilized organisms in the Burgess Shale were preserved in great detail. Scientists used a method of radiometric dating to find the absolute age of nearby igneous rock layers. These layers contain a type of potassium that changes into argon at a constant rate. Scientists measure how much potassium in the rock has changed to argon. From this measurement, they can determine when the igneous rock formed. After finding the age of the igneous rock, they used relative dating to determine that the Burgess Shale fossils are over 500 million years old. This seems quite old, but the earliest evidence for life dates back about 3.8 billion years. The earliest organisms were single-celled, which rarely formed fossils. Evidence of these earliest cells was found in rock samples with high levels of a type of carbon only found in living things, traces of carbon from cells. There are different types of carbon atoms, but living organisms use only one of these types. Scientists detected high levels of this type of carbon in an ancient rock compared to other types of carbon. They concluded that there was life on Earth at the time this ancient rock formed 3.8 billion years ago. Fossilized cells were not found in this rock, only chemical evidence of life. This is an example of inference, using evidence to draw conclusions when direct observation of a process or event is not possible. These rocks contain the earliest known evidence of life on Earth. Many types of scientists work together to collect evidence of ancient life. Chemists isolate certain chemicals from rock samples to analyze them. Biologists study how living things use chemicals in their bodies. Geologists determine the ages of rocks and what Earth conditions may have caused them to form. Paleontologists find and study fossils. Fossil evidence. The earliest fossilized cells scientists have found are about 3.5 billion years old. The fossils are a type of cyanobacteria, a single-celled life form that makes its own food by photosynthesis. In Greek, cyano means blue. The bacteria left traces of the blue-green pigment protein that gives them their name. The cyanobacteria also left behind stromatolite formations. Stromatolites are layered mounds, columns, or sheets of calcium-rich sedimentary rock. They are made of layers of bacteria and sediment. Evidence of change over time. For more than 2 billion years, only single-celled life existed on Earth. That changed about 540 million years ago, during the Cambrian era. Scientists found a large increase in the number and types of fossils in rock layers that formed during this time. Cambrian organisms looked very different from living things today. Many Cambrian species, such as the Mirella, were arthropods. Arthropods are a group of invertebrate animals that have segmented bodies. Cambrian arthropods are now extinct, but arthropods such as ants and lobsters are alive today. Scientists observe a large increase in the variety of fossils formed during this time, so this time is often called the Cambrian explosion. Many scientists think the Cambrian explosion happened because of increased oxygen levels in the air from cyanobacteria and new interactions among organisms. The fossil record shows that many Cambrian animals had a hard outer shell. These shells could protect the animals from predators. Scientists infer that the rise of the first predators on Earth led to a greater diversity of life forms. Over many generations, populations of organisms developed a variety of behaviors and characteristics, such as a hard outer shell, in response to the action of predators. The fossil record of the Cambrian explosion gives scientists a way to investigate how life changes over time. Increased complexity of fossils. Scientists find that more recent rock layers contain fossils that have more complex bodies and physical features than earlier fossils. Multicellular organisms first appeared in the fossil record more than 600 million years ago. Jawless fish appeared in the fossil record about 500 million years ago. Fish with jaws appeared nearly 400 million years ago. Later rock layers include amphibians and then reptiles and mammals. Birds appeared more recently. This evidence suggests that new physical features, such as feet and lungs, enabled organisms to live in new habitats. Once living in these new habitats, populations became more different from each other over many generations. The fossils of organisms with simpler body plans are also found in younger rock layers, along with more complex fossils. Scientists infer that while life changes over time on Earth, not all populations change at the same rate. For example, there is no evidence that modern bacteria are any more complex than bacteria found in ancient rock layers. Transitional fossils. Using evidence from the fossil record, scientists conclude that life began in the oceans. Early fish-like organisms gave rise to fish, which gave rise to the ancestor common to amphibians. To determine how changes like these occur in nature, scientists look for transitional fossils. These are fossils of organisms that have body structures that are found both in the ancestral species and in its descendants. For example, when scientists investigated the origins of amphibians, they hypothesized that there might have been an organism that had traits of both fish and amphibians. This hypothesis was supported with the discovery of a fossil called Tiktaalik. Tiktaalik lived in the water. It had bones in its fins that were very similar to the wrist and foot bones of amphibians.